Hi scholars, let's look at TEK 4.2b. It says, I can represent the value of the digit in whole numbers through 1 billion and decimals to the hundredths using expanded notation and numerals. So basically this TEK is saying you can take any number, whole numbers and decimals included, so you're basically going from the billions all the way to the hundredths place, and you can use expanded notation or expanded form to represent it. So let's get started. I'm going to start with this number here. This is the largest that the book can go. So I won't be able to show you using up to the billions using this, but the strategy is exactly the same. So you should be okay in using it. So basically the first step is you want to write the entire number. Okay, and it's like saying you're basically taking each number one by one, taking it apart. So this number here, actually I'm not going to, because of space, I'm not going to. So this number here is the millions. So I'm going to say 5 million plus 600,000. Now the 100,000's place is over here. Okay? Plus, this is the 10,000, so 30,000. The 10,000's place is over here. Plus 2,000. The thousands place is here. I know it's getting hard to see, I'm running out of room. Plus 600. Plus 70 plus 3. This is known as expanded form. You are taking each place value and isolating it with all the zeros in the other place values. So you can't say 5,002,000. It has to be 5 million on its own, 600,000 on its own, 30,000 on its own, 2,000 on its own, 600 on its own, 70 on its own, 3 on its own. And notice, like, as I'm reading it, I am also saying the place value, because that's how you read numbers. The only one that's a little strange is the tens place, because you don't say 310,000, you say 30, which is 3 tens. 3 times 10 is 30, 30,000, and then 7 times 10 is 70, and then you don't ever say the ones, you just say 3. So, and then as to check it, just go through and make sure you got the answer that you started with. I wanted you to see this in horizontally, because even though we did ours up and down, you know, sometimes on like homework questions and tests, they might be written horizontally. So, you know, what I would do is I would solve it like up and down, write your answer out up and down, and then just look at your answer and then match it up. So like go through it and be like, just make sure, oh, does that say 5 million? Yes. Does that say 600,000? Yes. 30,000? Yes. 2,000? Yes. Plus 60 plus 70 plus 3. So that's how you know your answer. Okay, let's look at this one. I'm going to write this one long ways, like horizontally, so you could see how it can be accomplished. So this is the millions place, so it's going to be 9 million plus 900,000. So that needs to be 900 in the thousands place. 50,000, remember you don't say 5, 10,000. 3,000. 790 plus 5. Now, I will admit this is very easy because I have all these labeled as my little cheat sheet. So here's what I would do if, obviously, you know, on assignments and homework and things like that, you're not going to have that. So let's say you're given that question on an assignment or a test, then you need to step up and write ones place, tens place, hundreds place. Thousands place, 10,000s place, 100,000s place, millions place. And then you can still do it. You can write you can write 9,900,000, 5,000, or sorry, I goofed, 50,000, 3,795. Okay, let's look at this example. Notice that there are some zeros in here. You do not have to write like 100,000 full of zeros or thousands full of zeros. You just skip it. So in this situation, I would write 9 million and I would skip that and just go straight to 50,000. Skip that, go straight to 700 plus 10 plus 5. Now it's your turn. I want you to put this number in expanded form. I am going to go ahead and leave this here so you can use this as a cheat sheet. And then the next one, I'm going to give you the numbers without the place value shown, and you need to go in and label them and then use that to help you answer the question. So press pause, work the problem, press play when you're ready to check. All right, so 4 million, 500,000. Sorry, didn't realize you can't see. I'm not going to write 10,000s or thousands, plus 300, 8 plus 80 plus 9. And that's it. And to check it, you can always, I always recommend this, like especially if it's a test or a practice like STAR test, you know, there's probably only going to be like 1 or 2 of these, so it doesn't hurt to go the extra mile and just do that. You know what I mean? And there you can guarantee that you got the correct answer. Now, if like you have an assignment full of these, then you know, you can kind of pick and choose. Like, I mean, it just depends on what your teacher says. But, you know, like if it's all the way to the billions place, this takes forever. And so maybe on the billions, just, you know, write all your place value down at the bottom and just very carefully and slowly, you know, write the horizontal answer, number sentence. But, you know, if it's like under 1 million, you know, then do it, and you know it'll guarantee the correct answer. Just kind of depends, you know. Some people want to do both strategies for all the questions. Some people, you know, want to pick and choose if they feel unsure about certain ones. You do what works for you. So let's do another one now, and I won't be giving you the place value. You write in the place value. So please write this number in expanded form. Press pause, work the problem, press play when you're ready to check. Please be aware I went all the way to the 100 millions place. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write the answer down here. Ooh, this is getting crazy with all the zeros. Whoops. And then plus 7. Here's another strategy. You can bring down the first digit, then bring down the next digit, replace everything else with zeros. Okay, I'm running out of space, but you get the idea. And then you can add them up and then see if you got the same answer. Alright, go ahead and do this last one, and then I'm going to go over something else, and then we're going to flip-flop it to where I give you expanded form and you have to figure out the numeral number. So be aware this goes all the way to the billion now. So press pause, work the problem, press play when you're ready to check. Okay, so in this one, I'm going to be very careful and make sure all my zeros are accounted for. Thank goodness I don't have to do those. Those got skipped. And there's my final answer. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this number real quick because I want you to understand what is exactly going on in the expanded form. I realized this, halfway through teaching the first part that I was like, oh, I should have gone over this in the beginning, but that's okay. So the expanded form would be this. Okay, so when you look at this, you're like, oh, that's 2,000. You're saying you have 2,000s blocks. So when you have 2,000s blocks, that is a value of 2,000. When you have a 4 here, the value is 400. You have 400s blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here. Here's 400s blocks. So 100, 200, 300, 400. That's why the expanded form stands for that. So 400s blocks is 400. The 5 here stands for 5/10s blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I have 5 blocks and each one is worth 10, I have a value of 50, and that's where the 50 comes in. And then same thing with this. I have 6 1s blocks. So if each one is worth 1, then the value is 6. So this is exactly going on in expanded form. You're saying 2,000 plus 200 plus 50 plus 6 equals 2,456. I would go over numbers, but I don't have 10,000s blocks, and that would get crazy, but you get the idea. Okay, so now we're going to flip-flop it. I'm not going to spend too long going over these. Basically now you're getting the expanded form and you have to put it in standard or numeral or number form. So there are many ways to do this. You can, if you really struggle with like this is just too busy for me, this is too much, you can rewrite it and organize it, and you've got yourself your final number. Okay? You have another option. You can look at it and go through the place value. 1s, 10s, 100s, thousands, 10,000, 100,000s. So you can be like, well, I know the first number is 7. 1s, 10s, 100s, thousands, 10,000s. So that's going to be there because that's the 10,000 spot. 1s, 10s, 100s, thousands. That's the 1,000 spot, so 2's in the correct spot. 1s, 10s, 100s, 1s, 10s, 1s. So this was an easy example because there were no missing pieces. So let me show an example where there is a missing piece and what you have to do. Okay, so let's look at this one. The first number is always going to be the highest value. So 1s, 10s, 100s, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. So 1s, 10s, 100s, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. Okay, so I know the 4 goes there. Look at the next one. 1s, 10s, 100s, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So 100,000s, the 8 would be right there. But then look at this one. 1s, 10s, 100s, thousands. That 9 goes in the thousands place, which means this would be 0. Okay? 1s, 10s, 1s. So then there's another 0. So you've got to be careful when you are going from here to here. And again, your other option, you could line them up one on top of the other if that works for you. So these are a few strategies you can use to solve. Okay, here are 3 problems I would like you to do. Press pause, work the problem, press play when you're ready to check. Remember, okay, so this is in the millions place. This one is in the 100,000s place. This is in the thousands place. Hundreds place, tens place, nothing in the ones place. This is in the billions place. This jumps into, this is the 100,000s place. 10,000s place. This jumps to the hundreds place. And then that one's part is easy. 6 billions place. 900 millions place. 20 millions place. 4 millions place. 300,000s place. 4,000s place, so that's skipped. 20 and then 9, so the hundreds are skipped.